As it happened, I did end up with 2 songs out of my limited experience on the show. One of them I've not performed publicly yet. I've still got some work to do um, out. The other one, Storm on the Prairie, has gotten some really good reception. I've offered to honor our commitment and record a version for use on the show, but I suspect that this lawsuit has occupied most of their time and attention. While on the show, all contestants met with the showrunner for daily meetings. Right after breakfast, we met to cover the day's schedule of events and expectations. This was very helpful to kind of set the tone for the day. It may be speculation on my part, but it appears that some of the participants must have had access to outside sources. There were a few who seemed to know more than the rest of us, and certainly more than me. Frankly, I was just focused on getting through each day and acting as dazed and confused as they wanted me to be. The morning meetings were held at the farmhouse, our central living place. I assumed that, like always, the cameras were rolling, but I can't imagine that they would want any of that footage. Individual meetings with the showrunner were held off camera, either by or in one of the production trailers or in an outbuilding on the property that was seemingly off limits to cameras, mics, etc. Don't ask me about a timeline or whatever for these conversations. I can't remember the day, the date, or the time under the best of circumstances. My manager and tour scheduler keep track of where I'm supposed to be and when. I just show up and do my thing. Once in the artificial confines of this game, I really didn't know what day it was. I do know that the conversation about voting Perry out of the house was held in the evening and was the day before we actually held the vote. Leslie Knopf met with me and 2 other contestants, Mary Rose Shelley and Mel Shaw, and then again with me separately, and I assume the other 2 separately as well. Then, as the real kicker, Storm came in the next morning and had a chat with us as well. They must have really wanted Perry gone for some reason. Storm had always delegated the conversations with contestants to Leslie, so this must have meant a lot. The gist of the conversation was that they suspected we might be planning on voting to get rid of Henry Hamilton as the 3rd person eliminated, which is true at the time. But Leslie and Storm both emphasized that there were certain advantages and certain challenges if we keep Henry around. Storm said, if we voted Hamilton out, we would definitely regret it later down the road. I mean, obviously, they knew what the next challenges would be, so you had to trust their judgment, right? One of the others engaged in the conversation, I think it was Mary Rose, who asked point blank, why Perry? I mean, we could not be convinced not to vote for Henry Hamilton, but why specifically should we vote against Perry? We really didn't get a great answer, mostly hemming and hawing, but the relatively values of all of the others who were left. I guess the upshot was that Perry was the most expendable. I know that in my meetings individually with Leslie, I got the impression that I was doing what they wanted me to do. There was one day early on where Les seemed absolutely elated. It was dark out, so it was either late at night or early in the morning. I just spent the better part of the day looking for my lost glasses. I set them down someplace and just couldn't find them. Looked everywhere, and apparently barged right in on some of the contestants having conversations and arguments with one another. I've since learned that they used this trope of me stumbling around looking for my lost glasses throughout the time I was in the farmhouse, even though it really only happened that one time. Since my time on the show, at concerts and public appearances, there invariably will be fans who yell out the tagline, has anybody seen my bloody glasses? I've even seen a few t-shirts with that phrase. I really had misplaced my specs that day, but I guess I cut in footage later of my glasses on various locations around the house. I'm told it was quite a running gag. From the get-go, I knew that I was a short-timer and not a serious contender for the grand prize. I'm pretty sure that I was kept around for the comedic effect and to check off the box of a drunk, wasted rock star, in the Ozzy Osbourne mold, if you will, even though I've been clean and sober for 5 years, 8 months, and 6 days. I was okay with the physical challenges. I mean, I can run a little, climb decently, jump okay, and crawl as long as someone helps me back up. So I was decidedly middle of the pack. But I really got the impression that while the original intent of the game were the physical and mental challenges Because this was a celebrity edition, they really focused more on the interactions between contestants, and that these emotions, conflicts, alliances, and interactions were truly the deciding factors on who stayed and who left.